Good evening, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey, everybody. How's it going tonight?
Everything's going fine over here, and how are things over in Transylvania?
Much better that all the loud fireworks have stopped now. So I am
yes.
well pleased now.
You're well pleased. You don't like it when they turn your nights into daytime.
That's right. How dare the little peons of Ravenloft do that?
Let's go into our news this week, and the big news this week is that Crystal Cove has returned. And what is Crystal Cove?
Very piratey. Pirates everywhere.
Pirates everywhere.
Lots of pirates, lots of pirate booty, and all the fun stuff. Of course, everybody knows Crystal Cove is the event that comes around every now and again. And once it's live in game, all you need to do is there will be a sailor in the harbor. His name is Sailor Catalan. Talk to him. He will transport you over to Crystal Cove, which is also known as Euphornia's Challenge. And basically, to sum it up, you just kill a bunch of things. You get treasure maps. You turn the treasure maps in. That actually will unlock the Crystal Cove itself. And once that is unlocked, you have 40 minutes to go ahead and go inside of there and do the challenge, which is basically a challenge you can only access while Crystal Cove is open. And as I said, to open Crystal Cove, you have to turn in those treasure maps.
But it does seem quite a bit like one of the regular challenges. It's just that the rewards seem to be better for the Crystal Cove version.
Yes. Yeah, there is. I would say they are better rewards. I mean, there's good reward challenges or rewards for challenges.
Actually, I wouldn't know about rewards for challenges since the only one I've ever completed successfully we'll talk about that when we get to.
Yep. And then you get gems and stuff inside of the Crystal Cove, of course. And then you can turn those in for some loot, and then you can upgrade your loot and all sorts of fun stuff. And of course, there's pirate hats. Everybody needs a pirate hat.
If you say so.
It's pirate hats.
I never got really all that much into pirates, I have to tell you.
What? It's like I don't even know you, Pinely. You didn't even read Dritz until here recently. You don't like pirates. What else is there hidden in your deep psyche that you want to share with us that we'll all be shocked about?
Well, probably it's just because I sometimes feel like it's overdone, so to speak.
But pirates are cool, though.
All right. Let's go into Chronicle 149. Anything interesting in this week's issue?
In this week's issue of the Damsels of DDO head into the Underdark, you can click over and watch their... Well, it's not their latest show, but as of the Chronicle, it was their latest show. You can watch that. DDO Gamer Jeff creates a little GIF that will tickle your trap sense. That's all I'll say about it. So go
tickle your trap sense.
Go check that out. I'm not going to give it away. Just it's a pretty epic GIF. But yeah, you have to look at the full version of it, not the little small version.
But does it involve any Star Wars admirals?
Maybe.
Okay.
Could be. It might be a trap, maybe. I'm also... Okay, this is the best name ever, I think. Tactilicious and Crapdelicious. That is just awesome. Looks at DDO with a much wider perspective. Click over and check that blog post out. DDO Kasplat took on Mycor's DDO 10-week challenge. Click over to watch them do What Goes Up. And finally, for Fansite News, the DDO Cocktail Hour had their recent episode up, and they talked about Gen Con and more. And since our show is family-friendly, I'll just say the more they talked about had to do with robots, but that's all I'll say. You'll just have to listen to the episode to find out. It was quite the interesting conversation they had. I'll put it that way.
All right. Was it a family-friendly conversation?
Not at all. The cocktail hour is not family friendly
Oh, okay.
whatsoever. No part of the cocktail hour is family friendly.
Okay, I guess with the name like the cocktail hour, you wouldn't expect it to be.
But they do such a good job with that show, though. So everybody should listen to the cocktail hour if you don't mind a little blue humor, as it were.
All right, is that it, or
that's it for our 100 and what are we on? The 149th episode of the Chronicle. The big 150 is next week.
Ooh. So anything interesting on sale this week?
There is so much stuff on sale this week, Pineleaf. It's crazy.
Crazy, and everything must go.
That's right. It's Crazy Eddie's sale in DDO this week. 25% off. The True Hearts of Wood. Hearts of Wood. Quest XP elixirs. Your healing items. Your spell point potions. And they are doing some specials that run through July 9th only. You can get the Mirror of Glamoring at 35% off. You can get the +4 Tome of Supreme Ability for 75% off. The Artificer class and character slots are also 50% off. And those, of course, as I said, only run through July 9th for that. And then our free sample of the week is a Bell of Opening ×1 when you use that coupon code OPN99. OPN99. And as always, the code is 1 per account.
All right, thank you on that. Now, why I'm surprised is that you knew who Crazy Eddie was.
See, I have some secrets too, Pineleaf.
Okay. Because I grew up in the New York area, so you couldn't grow up in that area without hearing about Crazy Eddie. But
yeah, I didn't grow up in the New York area, but I think everybody knows about Crazy Eddie.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
yeah.
that he was so widespread. I thought he was a New York local.
Oh, no.
Okay, learn something new every day. So let's go to our site news. And this week's poll is, which campaign settings would you like to see updated for 5th edition? And which campaign setting was chosen?
Well, we actually had a 3-way tie, Pineleaf.
Wow.
For the first time ever, our poll had a tie. We had 33 total voters. Dark Sun, Greyhawk, and Ravenloft all had 18% of the vote at 6 votes apiece. Actually, yes, I thought we had a 4-way tie, but no, I'm reading it wrong. Eberron came in a scant second place with 15% of the vote, and Forgotten Realms at 9%.
I'm surprised Forgotten Realms is so far down, or do they already have Realm stuff for 5th edition?
No, there is not.
Oh, okay.
I was too. I figured Forgotten Realms would be a lot higher than this. And then, of course, 9% we have the I really don't care / do not play pen and paper, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
6% we had some others. 3% we had Birthright, and 3% also had Dragonlance, which I'm kind of surprised Dragonlance wasn't a little higher, too.
All right. Now, is Dan one of the other voters?
Yes, he was.
And in case you wonder, because Dan's response was in 2 words, Gamma World.
Which I almost included that in there, but the reason why I didn't was I based this off of the new monthly Wizards of the Coast survey, which we're going to be talking about later in the show. So that's why the ones that were on here were on here.
Well, let's face it. Technically, Gamma World isn't a D&D world.
Right.
It has a habit of using D&D engines, but...
Right, and but I am surprised, though, that we had that tie. I knew Greyhawk would probably rate pretty high, because everybody loves all the Greyhawk stuff. Right. Dark Sun kind of surprised me, because that is like a very brutal world, and I'm surprised that many people want to see 5e Dark Sun. It would be cool. I'm just disappointed that Ravenloft, more people didn't vote for only 6 people voted for Really, people? Really? Only 6 of you voted for Ravenloft? Ugh, jeez.
All right, and let's go to our screenshot of the week for week number 23. And this week what in the world is that?
That is a giant nightcrawler, Pineleaf. That was a very scary giant nightcrawler that tried to eat my head several times.
That's what it looks like it's attempting to do at this point.
It did. I had to dodge out of the way right after I took that screenshot. That is that's in one of the quests in Wayloon. You actually get to fight that monstrosity.
Oh, you get the honor of fighting this beast.
Yes, you do.
Oh, what a thing to look forward to.
See, I gotta take you to Wayloon so you can experience stuff.
Well, we are 2 more levels from there.
Yeah, we are. We are getting close. And if you have a screenshot you are particularly proud of, send that to podcast@ddoplayers.com, and we will feature your screenshot on our site for the screenshot of the week.
We'll then head into news beyond DDO, and we'll begin with Titan's Grave Episode 4, Sewer Terror, and I think the title says it all. I think that's a pretty good description of the episode. What do you say?
I would say that is a very excellent description. And the little teaser that they gave out for this episode is, after finding themselves declared terrorists in Nestoria, the party follows Acker, a friend of the Beer Baron, to the Nestorian sewers in order to escape their current situation. The city above may have held danger for our adventurers, but will they find even more peril in the ancient city below? Which, no spoilers, but there's peril. I'll put it that way.
Oh, what a shock.
And this was another great episode. This show just keeps getting better and better. I'm really sad to know that there's only a couple more episodes left, because this is such a great show, and it just keeps getting better. Every single episode gets better.
Well, the tricky thing is getting all these people together for an extended period of time in order to do something like this.
That is true. And that's kind of the gaming problem I think everybody has that actually plays pen and paper. It's like getting your group, together every week or every month or what have you to play.
Yeah, and in this case, he took people who definitely lived in diverse areas.
Right, exactly. So, but enjoy Titan's Grave while you can, I guess.
But of course, if you want to play Titan's Grave yourself, it looks like they've sent the source book to the printers.
Yes, that is what Green Ronin has said. And a couple weeks ago, you remember us talking about how on the Green Ronin web store, you could purchase the Titan's Grave source book, and of course the Fantasy Age source book itself as well, which is what Titan's Grave is based off of. And the rumor had it that it was going to be released at Gen Con. Well, that looks like it's becoming more and more true, as Green Ronin did say that the source book is off to the printers. It's going to cost $24.95. It's going to be a 96-page hardback, and you too can run around Titan's Grave, the Ashes of Volcana, and have all the fun like you see on Titan's Grave every week.
And when is Gen Con?
Gen Con starts July 31st, Pineleaf, so Gen Con is fastly approaching.
And that means then they probably will be getting the first copies of the book at just in time to get to Gen Con.
Yes, and they have 2 seminars scheduled. The Titan's Grave Q&A with Will Wheaton, and then they have one that is entitled News and Updates on the Green Ronin Age System, which of course is the Fantasy Age system, which is what Titan's Grave runs on. And they have a Kickstarter up. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's going to be another system they're trying to kickstart for Age, Blue something. I apologize, I can't remember the name of it. So Green Ronin's putting all of their eggs, as it were, into the Age system, because people really seem to be enjoying Titan's Grave a lot. And they're going to go all in and release all these books, and we will have any news that come out of those 2 seminars. We'll have it up on our Twitter and our site, as I am going to be attending both of those and reporting anything that comes of them. And I'm still trying to find out. I haven't heard back from Gen Con. I might not be able to find out until I'm actually there if I can record these seminars for release. If I can, I will, and we'll have them up as well. For those that, of course, can't make it to Gen Con, you can still actually hear the full seminar instead of just getting a little rundown that I'm going to put up. So hopefully I'll find out before, but if not, I'll find out the day of the seminars. I might have to talk to Green Ronin themselves about that. But I will.
All right, then. And it looks like the folks at Fantasy Grounds have another module that they are including in their set, and this time it is one of the more recent ones, Princes of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, Fantasy Grounds is not wasting any time putting out the new 5e stuff. I mean, as soon as they got the official D&D license for 5e, they just hit the ground running, and it seems like they're adding stuff every week, it seems. This one is going to cost you $34.99. That's the price in their store for this.
I wonder how much they're going to charge for the 5e version of the temple itself.
Fantasy Ground stuff seems to run anywhere between $19.99 and about $34.99 is the average price for most of the stuff. So I would say somewhere in there will be.
In other words, they'll split the temple into smaller bits.
More than likely, probably.
Yeah.
I would think that's what they do with it. But of course, this does require the actual Fantasy Grounds itself. You can't just buy this and run it. You actually have to have the Fantasy Grounds license as well. Which that just was on sale during the summer sale, so hopefully that'll go on sale again, because it's rather expensive to buy it. I'll just be honest and say it's kind of expensive. I haven't picked it up yet. I'm kind of thinking about it. Was talking with my friends that I'm running through the Ravenloft that I converted, and we were talking about this as maybe a way that we could play together all the time. So we'll see what happens, but might we start using Fantasy Grounds for our games?
But you have to. But I thought that you were saving your money for Sword Coast Legends.
This is true. That's another thing as well, too. See, there's so much stuff coming out. It's crazy. So much stuff, so little money, Pineleaf.
All right. Then let's head into our next item, and that is the Wizards of the Coast June survey. And what do you want from older editions? And you said that this is related to our recent poll?
Yes, this actually gave me the idea for the poll. What Wizards of the Coast is doing is, if you did not know, every month they release, at the end of the month, they release a survey with what you want to see, what they should do, maybe what new class you want, or something like that. The surveys change every month. They're really short surveys, really simple to fill out. You just go to the website and fill them out. It's like 3 questions. When I filled it out, I want to say it took me maybe 2 minutes at the most to fill it out. Basically, what they're wanting to know this month is, which of the following campaign settings would you like to see updated to the 5th edition of D&D? Which of the following character types from the prior editions would you like to see updated to 5e?
Character types?
And we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
And which of the following races from the prior editions would you like to see in 5e? The character types, to answer your question, your choices for that are the Alchemist, the Artificer, the Cavalier, the Hexblade, the Martial, Adept, the Rune Priest, Samurai, Scout, Seeker, Shaman, Warden, and the War Mage are none of the above. So is there any of those that you would like to see in 5e finally? I'm going to put you on the spot.
What is this Warden?
What is, I'm not sure. I can't answer that. I'm going to have to look up. Because that was, when I seen that on there, I thought, I didn't know there was Wardens in D&D. So that's got to be something from a really old edition or something I never bothered playing. If you want to talk for a second, I will do some quick Google foo and we'll look that up. How's that?
All right. That'll be a good thing. Then while he does that, I'll talk about the 2015 ENnie Awards, where voting is now live. And I presume that the ENnie Awards are going to be available for, obviously, awards are being given out on 31st of July at Gen Con, so therefore, obviously, voting will close before then. I don't know how much time they need for counting after that. Have any idea on that, Drac?
What's that? I'm sorry, I was doing my Google foo.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right.
I was talking about the ENnies. Do you know when voting closes on that?
They close the day before they are given out at Gen Con. So
that'll be June 30th.
They're going to close June 30th.
July 30th.
Or July 30th.
July
sorry.
30th.
We're in a new month already. Where has time gone?
Okay.
Yes, because the awards ceremony is July 31st at Gen Con. And I have your Warden answer for you, by the way.
All right.
Wardens were in the edition that shall not be named, which is probably why I didn't realize that they were even a thing. They are a primal defender. So they're basically, what I'm reading in this description, they're kind of like barbarians.
Barbarian.
Their class skills are athletics, dungeoneering, endurance, healing, intimidate, nature, and perception. As a free action, once per round, a warden can mark an adjacent enemy until the end of the warden's next turn. Yeah, they're basically a defender. I hated that edition that should not be named. No wonder. Who knows what this class is because it's too confusing. Oh, I hate that edition. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, on to the Ennies. Yes, July 30th is when voting ends for that. And as I said in my article on this, voting is really bizarre. If you go to the site and see how you vote, it seems like to me there should be an easier way for them to do this. What you do is all of the listings are there, and you have to rank them in order of your choices. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. 1, of course, is the one that you want the most to win, and so on. But it's really, I don't know why they do it this way. It seems like there's a much better way to do this. And then they did say, if you don't like a product, you don't have to vote for it. You cannot hurt the product's choices of winning by ranking it poorly. You actually help it out if the race does go down to the wire. They use a system that they're calling the instant runoff election. And it's too confusing to explain. I read how it worked, and it's way confusing. But they basically take all the products that have low votes, and they put them into a pool, and then they figure out how many votes each got, and it's confusing. So if you want to vote for them, there's the website to do it. It's just a strange way to vote for something, if you ask me.
All right. Then let's go into our week in DDO. And how much did you manage to do this week?
Not as much as you, apparently.
Oh, well.
But I did do a lot, though. On Tuesday night / Wednesday morning, as it was 2 a.m. my time, so technically it was Wednesday morning, I did guest on the Damsels of DDO live stream over on the official DDO live stream with my Warlock, Druid, Cleric, weird combo on Argonescence. And the Damsels apparently do not like me at all. I came to realize that as I found out what they made me do to start the night off.
Oh, what did they do to you?
They made me do the Crucible.
The Crucible? You mean the Arthur Miller play?
Yeah. That would have been much, much better play.
Okay.
If you remember, I would have to look back to see what episode that was, but it was a long time ago. I was running my rogue through Giant Hold, and I ran into this walk-up quest that was the Crucible. So I thought, yeah, I'll try it. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's evil. It's horrible. It's terrible. You can watch the live stream to see all of the horrible, nasty stuff that transpired. But they made me do it. They made me do everything in there, too. I had to do it all. They just sat there and didn't do anything, and they made me do the whole thing.
The whole thing.
It was just horrible. But I did learn 3 valuable lessons.
All right. Number
1, Saba Jade is very directionally challenged when she's standing atop of a maze and trying to give directions to get through a maze. That's the first thing I learned.
All right.
The second thing I learned is you always listen to Mithri when she says open a door.
You always listen to her when she says to open a door.
When she tells you what door number to open, listen to Mithri and open that door. And of course, all this you can see by watching the live stream. You can see what happened. And the third and most important thing I learned is you never, ever go swimming anywhere with Lessa. That's all.
Is that worse than swimming with Pineleaf?
Much worse.
Okay.
At least you don't leave me under the water. That's all I'll say. Just watch the episode, and you'll find out what I'm talking about.
Lessa leaves you behind no matter what. She is a real task mistress.
Yes, she is. Lessa is mean. We have
learned because
that as well.
I saw a video where she was trying to teach somebody Minecraft, and she's always going somewhere else.
And then also after that horrible Crucible experience, we ran some more Giant Hole quests. We did Trial by Fire and the Foundation of Discord, and both of them we ran on Elite. Other than the Crucible, it was a lot of fun. I'd like to thank them for inviting me on the live stream. It was a fun time, and they all were pretty impressed with my little wolf's ability to shoot fireballs out of his mouth.
All right.
And then the following night, I guested on their podcast where we talked about what we did. And Pineleaf somehow decided he wanted to do it too. So he kind of invited himself on, and they said, "Sure, let's have him on." So hijinks ensued there, and there'll be links for both of these in the show notes where you can watch the live stream and then listen to the podcast and hear us talking about the horrible Crucible that we did. And that was it on Argo. And then over on our home server of Kenneth, we were talking after the podcast that we did. We were talking about Crystal Cove was starting, and they asked Pineleaf and I what we thought about Crystal Cove, and we didn't really have much to say about it. And they're like, all right, that's it. We're doing Crystal Cove then. So we ended up doing Crystal Cove then later on that day with the damsels, and we actually went down into the cave itself and did the challenge and everything. And I got a new sword, some armor, and a spyglass, which I'm waiting before it's over, which it ends on the 12th. I'm going to upgrade those, so I've got to run that a couple more times, which I think the damsels and I are planning at some point to do that as well. And then other than that, I just ran Smuggler's Rest, which is the Crystal Cove area outside, not inside the challenge incidents. The challenge incidents is actually called Crystal Cove, and then the island that you're on is Smuggler's Rest. I ran that a lot. I mean, tons and tons and tons, like so much. So many pirate booty chests. It's crazy the amount of stuff I have gotten just by running around that island, killing all of the things that spawn out there. And then Saturday night, I popped on. I was just going to run for a little bit, and I got invited into a raid that was forming out there, which I thought, okay, this should be fun. So we ended up, of course, I'm only level 14, but the raid was all much higher level than me. So
good grief.
So I told them, I'm like, well, I can like sneak and try to assassinate some of this stuff. And they're like, well, do what you can. If not, just don't worry about it. We just want you to stand here, because the more people they had in the raid, the higher amount of mobs that would spawn. And at one point, we were fighting at least 20 things at a time. It was
good grief.
It was insane. But I got so many treasure maps and compasses, and it was just, and you know, the name maps that drop, which lead you to the pirate chest, and it was just insane. So I had a ton of fun doing that, and I have a ton of maps to turn in. So I'm well on my way to my upgrades on my sword and my spyglass and armor now. And then my Ranger Rogue, who's level 13 still, of course, played with Pineleaf on Wednesday at our normal playthrough time, and I'll let you talk about that with the rest.
That was not the Ranger Rogue.
Oh, that's right. That wasn't the Ranger. That's right. That was still the Warlock, wasn't it?
Yes.
You were right. I forgot we were doing the Warlocks. Wanted to see what it was like to have two Warlocks running through some stuff. And
right.
So what'd you think about running two Warlocks in a party, finally?
I thought it worked out pretty well. So let's go into my week this week, and we'll begin with my level 13 Artificer, who went with Drac and the Damsels to do Crystal Cove, where we did 3 runs of it, and I got a Spyglass and an Elemental Gem. And I also received 3 Elemental Gems from Lessa on top of that. So I have 4 Elemental Gems and a Spyglass as a result of these runs. And I think it's a level 14 Spyglass or whatever, so that means I'll have to get another level before I can actually use it. So on my Video Warlock, I completed Misery's Peak, and I went to the harbor and did Protect Baldry's Interests. Now, I did do all of them up there, but the only one that I actually recorded was the one where you protect the box. Mm-hmm. Because, believe me, I am not going to have an episode where I just run around smashing crates. I don't think the audience would appreciate that. So I think I'm going to be jumping over to House D after this, since I don't think I've ever done a recording from those quests over there.
So what we've learned from you tonight, Pineleaf, is you don't like pirates and you think smashing crates is boring.
To watch someone else smash the crate is boring.
Okay. All right.
Smashing them yourself is fine. It's just, would you really want to watch someone else going around smashing crates?
Well, it depends if you would have some riveting dialogue at the time, maybe.
You're talking about Pineleaf here.
Well, that's true. No, I'm glad you skipped that then, Pineleaf.
Okay. Now, on my main Warlock, the one on House, the one on Caneth, I first went to the harbor. I was trying to catch up with you so I could catch up to level 5 with you. So I did Garrison's Missing Pack, Dirk's Got a Secret, Butcher's Path, and Acrophobia, the Miller's Debt, all that stuff. Then I did the Catacombs with you, where we finished up the Catacombs, the Patriot's Crypt, and then did the end game. And when we did the Archbishop's Fate, I looked at this and thought, okay, yeah, maybe I should have bumped it up to hard before we did it.
Yeah, because I asked you when you walked in, I'm like, only normal on this, Pineleaf? Really?
Yeah. Yes, that was a bit of underkill, so to speak.
Pretty sure we could have took him on hard, but
yeah,
just saying.
I guess because of my memories of the first time I did it were so chilling that I was afraid to do it on hard. So then we did on the Sharn Syndicate. We did the entirety of the Sharn Syndicate. We generally bumped it with hard, and elite is where we did most of the stuff. We did dirty laundry on elite. I think the rest of it was all on hard. And the Stormreaper Fresco was certainly a lot easier with the two of us than it was on the Wizard when I had trouble with it last week. And on Repossession, we hired a rogue. Or Drac hired a rogue, I guess I should say, since he's the one who spent the points to do it.
Yeah, because rogues you can only get through the store. They're only gold seal.
Right.
But I knew we were going to need somebody to do traps, and we're both just straight warlocks, so it helped.
It certainly helped. It helped us to get through that very nasty point. And then I did more on the harbor, and a lot of the stuff that I did after this was inspired by a series I've been watching that Drac recommended. It was the Shady Rogues, and I watched the entirety of the Shady Rogue series. But they very often came to quests that I had never done before or I had long ago forgotten. So what I did is before watching the episode, I would go and run the quest.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's kind of cool.
So to make sure that I didn't have it spoiled for me before I actually did it. So therefore, you'll hear a lot of things that I got inspired by for doing on this. So therefore, in the harbor, I did Information is Key, and that is one I completely forgot about. I have a feeling I might have done it way back before free-to-play existed.
I love that quest.
Yes, I had completely forgotten it existed because I think it was maybe more... I think it used to be that the starter area back before free-to-play... Because now I was on a 30-day trial back in those days. And I believe that that particular quest might have been more in the line of change because I think they started you right around where that inn is, where Information Key starts. But of course now it's nowhere near where you go. Because that now is way in a back corner and I completely forget about that inn. Then also on Korthos Village, I decided to go back to Korthos Village and work on my Coin Lord's reputation. So I did Hayton's Rest and the Storehouse's Secret on Elite. And then I went to the Steam Tunnels, where I did Blockade, which is when I reached 75 favor with the Coin Lord, so I could get my new bag. And then the Caverns of Shog, where I leveled up to level 6, and the Seal of Chanticleer. So I've finished up the Chanticleer series over there. And then I went to the marketplace and did the Sunken Sewer, Missing in Action, and the Swipe Signet. And I did Sunken Sewer, Missing in Action at hard. Then I went to House Denaith, and this was inspired by the Shady Rogues, where I did the Depths of Despair, Depths of Darkness, Depths of Discord, Depths of Doom. And it was nice to see that in Depths of Despair, the quest giver does a kill 10 rats joke. He says, oh, what do I do? Oh, why don't you kill 10 rats and bring me their tails? I said, just kidding.
That's awesome. I guess I don't remember that. It's been so long. So I'm going to have to go back and run those quests again. I haven't done any of those for a long time.
And then I went into Tangleroot Gorge. And this is laced up because the Shady Rogues are just now starting Tangleroot Gorge. So I decided to do Tangleroot Gorge. So I did the entire series. Now, when I decided to commit myself to go in and do the entire thread on Tangleroot Gorge. I did not realize at the time that it is one of the longest chains that exists.
Oh, yeah.
So I looked for the cheats. I did First Strike, Captives, then the War Plans, then Whisper Doom Spawns, and then the doubles, the Deadly Package to Doom the Witch Doctor, the last move. And after the last move, I reached level 7. I reached Guild level 12.
Oh, awesome. Congrats.
Which, Guild level 12, unlocked the Chronoscope. So I went over to my guild ship, and I purchased a Chronoscope, and I also decided to purchase 3-finger Thads.
So you're poor now, right?
Oh, yeah, that used up both my guild savings and the money I had on my Artificer and wiped both of those out. So, yes, I am poor now. Apparently, 3-finger Thads took it all.
Well, makes sense.
Yes, now I know why it's called 3-finger Thads, yes. And my wizard, for my permadeath wizard, then ran the Shantakor series, the Sacred Helm, the Clovenjaw Scourge Blockade, and the Caverns of Shog, and the Halls of Shantakor. Now, the Halls of Shantakor, you recall that room where you have these spiraling platform along the edge, and then when you're coming up trying to get to the hobgoblins, you have one where when you climb the ladder, these fire traps start spitting out.
Yep.
Yeah, you recall that place?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got to the top of this, and I took care of the person there, and then we had the other cleric at the other end who was attacking me, and now I was pinned between where I was. I couldn't go backwards because we had the flame jets coming out, and my cleric did not follow me up. This is not a good combination with a permadeath character. I can guarantee you that. Here I was on the last quest of the series. This is it. If I did this and got to level 5, then I have made it. I succeeded. I survived. No, I got killed by the stupid cleric throwing stuff at me. And because my cleric did not follow. Now, I'll tell you, when my warlock did that same quest, my cleric followed me.
Did you think about calling your cleric to you?
It's not allowed in the rules for the permadeath to summon your hireling. That is against the rules.
Oh, poor Pineleaf. Permadeath is just not treating you well, Pineleaf.
Yes. So then I created a monk for my new permadeath character. So I did the Korthos village stuff. Then I did the Korthos island stuff, finishing. And on the Korthos Island, in fact, I did Redemption, Stopping Sahuagin, and Necromancer's Doom all at hard. But Sacrifices I did at normal because I wanted to, beat up on the skeleton mage. And you know what happens when you do it at hard with Sacrifices at hard and go after the skeleton mage. I get killed. Then Misery's Peak. And when I did Misery's Peak, I changed my UI layout a little bit. And I decided to put it so that all of the skills that I use most often and I want to use quickly, I decided to put on bar number 1 so that I could just hit a number and do them on the fly instead of having to swap back and forth between mouse move mode and able to click things mode.
Okay.
So I was starting to get used to that thing. So that's where I started to start practicing a little bit on that. Then I went to the harbor and did Bring the Light, Smuggler's Warehouse, Protect Baldry's Interest, and the Miller's Debt and Arachnophobia. And then on Waterworks, then I went to the Waterworks and did Clans in Ashtu's Lair and Rescuing Arlos. Then I did the Sharn Syndicate. So obviously I must have hit level 4 at some point if I did the Sharn Syndicate. And I got all the way up to Repossession on there.
Did you sleep at any point, finally? At any time did you sleep, or were you just playing DDO like nonstop around the clock?
No. I wasn't doing things nonstop or anything like that. Let's see. Now, the other thing here is that when I was doing the Smuggler's Warehouse, I was doing this at hard, and I decided I will hire a wizard for this. This is the last time I'm ever going to hire a wizard. I mean, really? You cannot turn off grease?
I was going to say, did grease get you?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that if he had grease, I could at least turn it off. But no, grease cannot be turned off.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even on the official spell list to show you. But all right, I like to cast grease, 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 grease. I think if I wasn't a monk, I would have been on the floor half the time. I mean, at least I had a decent balance.
Oh, the hireling wizard and his grease spell.
Yeah, and also on in Clan Nashtu's lair, when you're doing this room where you have all these casters that are on top of these platforms, I went into there, and I've traditionally had a lot of trouble with that one. But I went in there with my monk, and my monk with a jump of 10. It's like I just had to bleep. I was able to easily jump from each platform to the other platforms. I jumped, climbed up to the first platform, killed the one there, jumped easily to the next one, killed that one, jumped easily. So all this easy jumping all over the place. And that makes that quest a lot easier.
And I just want to point out that Nithpon in the chat says he loves how Pineleaf got a slightly defensive tone when I suggested that you were playing nonstop.
All right. The Sharn Syndicate. When I was doing the Storm Reaper fresco with my monk. All right, I went in there with two hirelings, the freebie cleric that I've got, plus the one that I've got from the hireling vendor. And because I complained about last time what happened with the wizard and not being able to do anything. So I went there with the two hirelings, and boy, I thought that we punched through it fast enough when we did it with our warlocks. But this was like boom, 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 crash. I believe we had both of those crystals down before the first dogs came out.
We did. Because you were saying, is that the first dog? And I said, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I did the same thing with the monk, in that with the two hirelings in it. We just blew through the two crystals. And then I went to the other room and, of course, turned the hirelings to passive. Now, what I should have done, the part that I forgot, though, was to tell them to stay here. Do not move. I forgot to do that. So I went over to the first lever. All right, got that. Went over to the second lever. Now, of course, hirelings are not very good at not being seen by guards, let's say. So the guards saw them and started pounding upon my poor hirelings. But one of them, as a result of that, saw me as a result of seeing the hirelings and decided to hit me. So I couldn't hit the second lever.
Oh, no. So you had to kill the guards to finish.
No, I tried running around, healing myself, hoping I could outrun them and then get to the place. Unfortunately, one of the hirelings got tired of being beat upon and decided, I don't like this passive business, and decided to kill the guard anyway. Either that, or it might have been one who had an automatic reflect or something like that. But whatever was the cause of it, one of the guards did die, so I lost the optional there. And I think it's the first time I ever failed the optional.
Yeah, you kind of have to try hard to fail that optional in that quest, actually.
Yeah, so therefore, that tells me then, make sure that if I take hirelings in, that I tell them to stay put. Now, I don't know if they really would stay put. That's an entirely different matter.
Yeah, it depends on their mood on the day, I think.
Right, but I should have at least tried doing that. And that is, my week in DDO. And you can remember, I was on holiday for half the week.
Still, you did a lot of stuff in DDO.
Yeah, it is incredible how, yes, I spent a lot of time on the...
You did.
I was thinking maybe I could get the Warlock up to level 7, and maybe at some point be able to do the Temple with my Warlock.
That would be kind of fun. We should try that, actually.
Right. So I was thinking that you were going to level your Warlock to 7, so I better be ready there.
I will do that then.
Yes, and...
That is my homework for the week.
That's your homework for the week. And if you're level 7, then we'll do the Temple with the Warlocks. If you're not at level 7, then of course we always have our higher level characters who are looking forward to someday want to be able to use the stuff they got from Crystal Cove.
That's right.
If you would like to help support DDO players, go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even to be able to guest host with us. And how close are we to our next update?
We are the next DDO-centric update. We are $34 away from a 1-year VIP giveaway code.
Ooh.
We are only $4 away from a Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns Standard Edition giveaway, though.
Aha. Then let's go into our emails. Well, we don't have any. But if you would like to send us one, you could send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance, at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to blast those bugbears.